All right, so this is a video of me explaining my love-hate relationship with this Stihl MS291. Okay. Things I've done to this saw: I have muffler modded it. I know it's an unusual muffler mod, but it's the metal I had around. I took the air filter off. I opened up the intake, just the way McCullough chainsaws did on YouTube. I found that pretty useful. Retuned the carb, and this thing is a monster. Even running this 20-inch bar, it cuts really well. As long as you keep the chain sharp. And see, I've got the official Stihl, you know, make sure your guides and everything are the right height, that kind of stuff. The Achilles heel of this saw is Stihl listened to the EPA too much. There's not an adjustable oiler on it. Their Pro Series saws do. So the Pro Series equivalent to this would be the MS260 or 261C. The 261C has an adjustable oiler. It's 2 pounds lighter. Same guide bar length recommendations on it. Same guide bars, 16 to 20. This is a 20. You get a 1/4 horsepower more, and I don't know if I mentioned it, it's 2 pounds lighter. So it's actually a little bit smaller displacement, which tells me that they have done some things like I've done here, taking some of the restriction out of it. Now this produces more than that 261 with the mods I've done to it. But if you don't want to be messing with it straight out of the box, I would probably get a 261. Now, what's pissing me off, or frustrating me a little bit, okay, yeah, whatever. I just had this off. It's not uncommon. You do a couple cuts, you got to readjust it. I just sharpened this. I went out and tested it. I cleaned out the oil passage because after about, I don't know, I want to say about 18 cuts, the oiler was plugged up on this. Well, I did a couple quick little test cuts right after I sharpened it and cleaned it up. It was working great. I did one cut on a stump with it laid over on its side like this, which they're built to do. That's why the handle wraps around the side there. And this bar is dry. So that tells me that the oiler on the bar is already clogged up. So I'm going to take that off and we'll take a look at it here. I'll show you what I did to try and get some more flow, but it's just really irritating me. Alright, so we got the side panel off, and something I did on the side panel, I don't know if you're actually supposed to do this or not. I added lock washers to those nuts because I kept losing the nuts while it was running. So, and I don't like over tightening things. So, let's slide this off here. And our oiler, yep, I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera. There is crud down in the hole. The hole itself looks clear. There's crud down in there. Unfortunately, I think what we're going to do is we're going to clean out this hole. And we're going to flip the bar upside down and see if it seals a little better. The oiler for this, you can see it's got some stuff in it too. Grab a pick here so I can point. You can see it had a little crud in it. I'm going to wipe all of this up, make sure that it seats good. But what I did is I opened up the holes with a drill bit. You see this wear pattern here? I opened it up so it was at the edge of the wear pattern. I ended up actually drilling them out quite a bit. They're really small from the factory, just to try and get some more flow out of it, and it seemed to work. I thinned the oil out a little bit. I run some Amsoil bar and chain oil, put a little veggie oil in it. Works okay. The thing that frustrates me about this is every other saw I have used, even just a cheap bar oil, it flows enough that it keeps the hole clear for one, but it also flows enough to keep the bar nice and wet. Not necessarily slinging a whole bunch of oil off. If it's slinging a bunch of oil off of it, it's too much, okay? But I've never had a saw before, or dealt with a saw, that required so much chain maintenance as this one. This was, I have to clean this out after 4 cuts. Not even 4 full cuts. That's ridiculous. Stihl, get your act together on these saws. If you look up in the book what the flow spec is when you go to check to make sure the oil pump's good, the spec that this non-adjustable is set at is the minimum spec on for the lowest setting on the adjustable oiler. So on the saw that can run a 16 to 20 inch bar with an adjustable is what they set the minimum spec for a saw that has a non-adjustable that runs that same bar length, which is why I ended up having to do what I did just to run a 20 inch bar. And I don't run the 20 inch all the time, but when I need it, I need it. So I had to do something. It's cheaper than buying a new saw. Yeah, maybe. I got that Husqvarna there I picked up used. Seemed to run great, but we'll do a video on that. It had an issue. Luckily it's not burned down because it was running lean, so I'll do a video on that someday. But anyways, that's a 346 XP Pro saw. That would be the equivalent of the 261 in Husqvarna world as the Stihl is. So, as the Stihl 261 I was talking about in this video. So, recommendation, skip the 291, go straight to a 261. I know you're going to pay another $150 to $250 more. Believe me, it is worth the headache. I don't know how many hours I've spent sharpening chains, clearing that hole, because it doesn't oil enough and it just trashes chains because of it. So, okay, got the Stihl all kind of cleaned up here. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. It is a little shinier now. It's getting some oil. So, that's it for now. Like I said, I'm tired of working on this thing over and over and over again. It feels like I'm maintaining the chain at least once or twice per tank of fuel, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. So, like I said in the beginning of this, skip the 291 Farm Boss or whatever you have and go straight to a Pro Saw like a 261. You'll have way less headache in the end.